it sets the tone for the day. So I always have like Alexa play some really like sing songy song to me. My husband thinks it's totally goofy, but it's like it sets the pace, it sets
Sets
the
the
tone
tone.
for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you wake up feeling jovial, you're going to go through your day. And even if things happen to you, I believe in the law of attraction too. And so
Yes.
what we
Yes.
start off with and what we carry around with us is what we attract. I've been out and I've known I was in a funky mood and I had horrible interactions and I've actually gone, left a place, went and sat in my car and said, let me recalibrate, let me breathe, let me start over. I've said to people while talking to them, okay, hold on, let's start over. It helps like to hit the reset button.
Mhm.
Even in the middle of conversation, I'll do that. So yeah, your music, you have really good positive music for sure.
Thank you so much.
Um,
And I always say to people, like, if I'm known for a record, what they say like a one hit wonder, I would like it for that to be the record. Like I got other music, but this one right here is bigger than me. So
Yeah,
for it to impact you like that, and for
it's
it to
like
give you
it's
that
an
feeling,
anthem.
yeah, yeah, and I feel the same way for it. Like the funny thing about that record, right? I had the producer make the beat and the whole concept, and I was giving it to some of my other friends. 'Cause I wasn't really recording at this particular time, but nobody was moving on right into the record. So it just got to the point where like I usually get like writing spurts, and I just get like a writing bug and a creative bug, and I just go crazy. And I started writing to it, and I'm like, when I recorded it and everything, I said, you know what, I'm keeping this for myself, and it
Wow.
worked out. It worked out like it was meant for me to really um do this record in conjunction with the docu series that I'm doing and the stuff that I'm doing in the community because it all aligns under my purpose and everything. So when I'm talking like that on a record, it's like people would expect that from me because I've been in the community and I know what it's like to see the violence and engage in certain activities, but making a conscious decision that we're not meant to be killing each other or acting in a certain manner. So
No.
what I embody is supported within the message of the record, so people will receive it well from me. I don't think an artist that's already out, depending on the type of artist that you are, it would not be received right. But for a new artist to come into the game with this type of message and resurging that energy, I think it's going to land very well on the masses.
I pray it does because you're hitting two target audiences here. I'm 51, okay? So I came up with the positivity music. So a person like me is like you are a breath of fresh air to somebody like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Oh my god, this is what we've been waiting for." But the young people, this is what they need. So your purpose is twofold. And the reason why your album didn't work with anybody else, that was your baby. You birthed that baby for yourself. That's for you to raise and for you to bring to
Right,
fruition. So
right.
I think everything worked out the way it was supposed to with the album because it is great. And who, like you were saying something about who did your music. I was just telling D Poise, I'm like, oh wow, whoever did the music, like this is just like a match made in heaven. Seriously. Everything, like a lot of times you'll hear a song and then the lyrics can be sound, but then you'll be like, man, that would sound so much better if they, or why didn't they do your, it is spot on. It is spot
Thank you.
on.
Thank you. And
You're
shout out to
welcome.
Thanos. Shout out to Thanos Beats. I've been working with him for about several years now. And every concept that I we collaborate on, he nails it. He nails it to the T. And I think this one is a record that, we're very prideful about.
That's awesome. Hey, I hope you're recording this. I hope you got some
yeah.
stream because we're dropping pearls, man. Are you
Am
getting
I?
any of this?
Can, can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear
We
me at
can
I
hear
all?
hear
you.
you. I hear you.
Oh, okay. I, I'm on the phone, so I'm still waiting for the reboot. But
Do you want
Nah, but
me
we can
to
see you
leave
though.
the area because you're coming through? Am I coming through over there with you?
I hear both of y'all very clear.
I
Okay.
got on earphones, so you fine here on my side. Um, man, honor to have you here for real, guys. That little bit that y'all was just talking, what was supposed to be off record alone was dope. Was dope. Um, so you grew up in where exactly? Brooklyn? No, Brooklyn.
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Bed-Stuy. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And I also got to shout out Flatbush because from 91 to 98, I lived in Flatbush as well, and that was a key point in my life as well. So, people often hear me shout out Bed-Stuy. I'm a Brooklyn baby. You know what I'm saying? So I've
Mm.
been in all neighborhoods, but as far as like from birth, I was taken to Lafayette Avenue, and my family still lives there on Lafayette Avenue. And actually, the mural that I curated in the neighborhood is on the same block that I was born and raised. So,
Oh,
but I also got to give tribute to Flatbush as a part of my upbringing.
You
that's
said the
awesome.
Merle. Is that the BDK Moral or something like that? Am I
Yeah, one
correct?
of one of the murals is of Big Daddy Kane, and it's actually on the building where he was actually raised at, where he was born, where he was raised. So come to find out, when he came to see the mural and sign it, he let us
Mm.
know that he was born in the building on Lafayette and Marcus Garvey, which is the first building on the block, and then he moved to Lafayette and Lewis, where he was actually raised. So I didn't know, like, I always thought that he was from that one particular building, but he was born on the same block, but then just moved to another end of the block. So
So
I'm
I
from
have a. Okay, I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying I'm born and raised on the same block as Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
That's
So
dope.
I was just going to say, for the longest, when I was younger, I thought, I know that Bed-Stuy stands for Bedford Stuyvesant, correct? But
Yes.
I thought it was just like a big apartment complex. I didn't know it was an actual city. I was like, oh, that's an apartment complex, but it's like a whole area, yes?
Yeah, it's a community. It's a community, but we're big. We're big at heart. Like Bed-Stuy can be a state. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's a community. So we're in between like Bushwick, Crown Heights, uh Williamsburg, and also due to gentrification, it's like they changing the neighborhoods and stuff like that. But in Clinton Hills, but they're trying to like cookie cut different blocks and communities and trying to rename it and rezone it and stuff like that. But Bed-Stuy is just big at heart.
Now, have they changed it there? Like, because you mentioned gentrification, and it's like places that, I have friends that came from New York to come here to go to high school, and they live here still. And one of my friends, she said, you would not make it in New York. She said, because you smile and you're going to be looking around, looking up at the skyscrapers, and you're going to get robbed immediately. And I was just like, oh my God. But then watching these programs on television, and I see like freaking Jamba Juice and Starbucks and Whole Foods. And so, like, is it still dangerous there? Or is it like, doo-doo-doo, people out there walking tiny dogs like our dog? Like, what, how are they doing this gentrification everywhere, or is it just certain places?
It's pretty much everywhere now, but it's also everything that you just named. Because even with the gentrification, I'm gonna tell you a prime example, right? This is at my mother's house. So talking about gentrification, somebody was drunk, so drunk that they thought that they was going into their household.
Hmm.
The key wasn't working in the gate and everything, and here they are, so drunk that they're trying to break the gate to get into my mother's house, and they're on camera, and they
Oh
was trying to
wow.
do this for like a good 10 minutes. So when you talk about gentrification, different nationalities and ethnicity backgrounds and stuff like that, normally that wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? And this was someone of a different race that's doing this, and this is not your property. So, make a long story short, my mom ended up talking to the landlord over there, and the landlord had to fix the gate and everything. So, we also deal with people with these little dogs, like you're talking about. In front of the house, we have like a flower garden. It's like a guardrail where they got the tree. And my mom, she's very into beautification, like putting the plants and everything outside the front of the house. They lift their dogs up and let their dogs go inside the flower bed and all that kind of stuff. And then when you say something, they feel entitled that their dog should be able to go right there in front of the house and all that kind of stuff. No, it doesn't work like that. So
That's crazy.
we deal with like different, we clash with different morals and principles in some areas. But that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the murals, to preserve the culture. You know what I'm saying? And beautify the neighborhood and stuff like that. So that's like one of my purposes. But Bed-Stuy is everything that you just said. plus more. But however, um, it's a humane thread there. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't care what race you are next door. If your mom's is struggling up the steps with a shopping cart, I'm not gonna watch your mother struggle. If she
Right.
trip and fall on the street, I'm not gonna just watch your mother trip and fall and not ask if she okay and help her up, regardless of what race you are. So this is what I want to really project into the neighborhood and exemplify that regardless of what race you are, there's a humane thread here.
That's so good to hear because on television and in movies they always depict New Yorkers as being very cold and very callous people, and then when
So
they
what
talk about
different?
the five boroughs and they just talk about like it's kind of like when we were raised learning about Africa, we thought everybody lived in a hut. Well, when we hear about New York, we hear about the cold side or the gentrified, super white Jamba Juice side. And what you're giving us is the humane, we have love for people. We're still out here picking old folks up off the sidewalk part, and that's important to know because I would
But we
like to
like that
visit
to
there.
each other though. We as New Yorkers, we like that to each other. Like we can be so like back to the music. Back in the days, there was an essence where you knew who your neighbor was. You know what I'm saying? And it took a village to raise a child. So nowadays, it's like people don't speak to their neighbors. They don't hold the door. And even if you do hold the door for somebody to come in, they don't even say thank you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So there's a huge disconnection in society overall.
Yes.
Facts.
It's just weird. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna honestly say like it's not just New Yorkers. It's a huge disconnection all over. You know what I'm
I
saying?
was gonna
And
say
I'm
we have
very
that
big on
here.
energy. I'm very big on energy, and it's a universal energy where we're off tilt and off balance on a universal scale. So this is why I'm making this record and telling we have to get back into our frequency. We got to start vibrating on the same frequency because it has to happen. You got mother and child disputing with each other. You got siblings disputing with each other. It's so much disconnection within our households that we got to be mindful and conscious of like what's happening here. And it's not just me in my household. Everybody got their own situation going on, but we're not mindful of what's really happening. And it's from a divine level.
Hmm.
Right.
Now, let me ask you, how did you get into doing hip hop? Where did it begin for you?
So hip hop has always been like around me. I was born in '81. You know what I'm saying? And to grow up on the block that like I said, Big Daddy Kane, even before Big Daddy Kane, Disco Richie of Divine Sound is also from my block as well. He's from like Lewis, between Kosciuszko and Lafayette. I'm from Lafayette, Lewis, and Marcus Garvey. And Big Daddy Kane is on Lewis between Lafayette and Van Buren. So that hip hop element has always been there. And then even like some of the older guys in my neighborhood, they always been into recording. So I got an older cousin. He was into music. He used to run around with like Nas, and he was a big Rakim fan. And my older cousin, he's like 2 years older than me. He was always into hip hop. So he had like the one boombox here and then the other boombox on top of it. And this boombox is playing while the other boombox is recording was being played on the
Yeah,
other. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, and he used to also like, and this is when I'm in grade school, like third grade, second grade, and all this kind of stuff. And he would like write the raps and he would like memorize it. We gotta get a dance routine. We gotta say it like this. We gotta do it like this. We gotta dress like this. And we watching videos and all this kind of stuff, and we memorizing songs and everything. And from that element there, and then seeing like the older dudes, and then when I became of age, so I'm like in the seventh grade, I would be watching videos on TV, but then I'll go outside and I'll see Black Moon. Or even younger than that, I'll go outside and I'll see Big Daddy Kane. So like that was a thing for me where it's like when my neighbor had took me to the Smith and Wesson's Bucktown video shoot, that was the first video that I was in. So once I went to that video shoot and then I went to school and my friends were like, oh, I saw you in the video. It was over for me. I just love that feeling like of people like saw me on TV, seeing me on TV. And from there it was like, the hip hop was just innate in me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Yeah, that's a lot of history on one block, though. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
On one strip, like that's wild. That's mad wild.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of celebrities, you know, that's like walking distance from where I live. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of tapped into like most of them and had a hand in supporting a lot of their careers. Um, but you know, Spike Lee did do the right thing in my neighborhood. You know,
Right, right, right.
I remember being in public school, and one of my classmates was actually one of the children in do the right thing.
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And yeah, Kane was my man's too. So yeah, I used to walk around like I was Kane there when I was a young cat. So that's dope.
Yeah, BDK, man.
I have two questions. I'm going to shift gears real quick, and then I'm going to come back because right now okay. I'll ask my old school hip hop question now, and then I'll shift back to your video. Um, we have kind of a running joke between a friend of mine, Jennifer O'Jenny. She's on Rap Station, and we've had the pleasure of interviewing Stetsa Sonic. Well, we've had everybody but I think Bobby Simmons. So, do you
Bobby
know
Simmons.
Daddy-O of Stetsa Sonic?
Do I know who?
Daddy-O.
I know of that. I know of him. Yeah.
Okay, because we
How can
joked
it
that
be
there's like six
forbidden if
degrees.
it's love?
Yeah, 6 degrees of Daddy-O or Stetsa Sonic, because everybody has some connection to them, and Bobby Simmons too, because Bobby Simmons, he does his show as well. So I had to ask that. Now back to your video. That was a really cool video, the one where you all were riding around in the car. And then
The
they
Buddha
show you
joint.
in like it's like in
Buddha
a
Chief,
park
yeah.
environment and you're sitting at the table. Like, how long did it take you to shoot the video? And like, what all did you have to do? Like, was it difficult to get, like, don't you have to get certificates and things to set up in a park to do a video, or did y'all just go shoot the video?
You talking about the Buddha Chief video? Is
Yes.
that the one where they was like actually fighting in the background and then we was driving around the car in the nighttime?
Y'all was driving around. Yes.
Yeah, that Buddha
Um
Chief, yeah.
no, we didn't necessarily get any like permits, anything. So the restaurant scene is someone that I know. Just asked him like, listen, I need a scene to do a restaurant. So he actually was part owner of the restaurant. Shout out to Ty 101. Um, shout out to Ray. Actually, he let us utilize that for the restaurant scene. So I actually hired a production team. Shout out to Fred Focus. So Fred Focus, he did video for Pusha T, Dave East. He's done big Nike campaigns and stuff. So Fred Focus, he got his team together and everything, and he hired some professional extras as well as some of the members that are my Booty Chief members. They came out to partake in the video and stuff. So it was more so, you know, their production team in conjunction with the vision that I had and everything. So I saw like, you know, a fighting scene, a sitting down restaurant scene, and they added the element of the driving and all that stuff. So it was a collaborative effort. But no, we didn't use any permits. We didn't use any permits for that. Where's Sunshine go?
But she fell back.
No, I think we lost it for a
She coming
second.
back.
Okay, she'll come back.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah. As a videographer, I mean myself, like, yeah, it's only certain things, like certain areas, certain places where you gotta actually, what I mean, do the whole permit situation. A lot of times, they don't be tripping like that.
Yeah. I think once you start laying tracks down and all that kind of stuff and setting up big lights and stuff, that's when they want you to have the permits and stuff.
Right, right, right. Or if you're doing like if it involves like a chase scene on the streets or something, they gotta block
Yeah,
off streets or
yeah, you
what
got
have
block
you.
up the
Yeah, all
streets
of
and
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Word, word.
here she go. My bad.
She coming back.
Okay. Yeah, there.
My apologies. I needed I didn't share or anything, and I knew I could get out and get back in real quick. So my other question is, it's sorry.
No
So
problem.
it's kind of twofold. In the video, I noticed there's a scene, and there are two white men and they're like kind of fighting each other, but then brothers are standing around watching. Who thought of that scene?
So it was a brother and a white dude fighting.
Okay,
Um,
I thought it was
and
two white people.
it was mixed races that was actually around fighting. Um, so that was my idea as far as like the fighting scene.
Hmm.
Um, because initially, right when I was thinking of it, it's like the way that the say it again.
It was just that was just an echo.
Oh, okay. Um, like the intro to it, where the guys like saying like Buddha Chief, everybody. That kind of sounds like a open area and like some activity is going on.
Hmm.
So it's like I always had this vision in there for like some sort of like competition, some competitive aspect to it. So when I told the director that I wanted to have like a fighting scene in it, they found a location and you know, like I said, they hired some extras and I reached out to some of my Buddha Chief members and everything. And then we just came together with that. And actually the white guy that was fighting, he's from like I think he's from Australia or something like that. Like he's
Okay.
actually like into like some sort of fighting.
I was gonna
Uh,
say he looks like an MMA fighter
yeah,
that
he's a
I've seen
professional.
before. He looks familiar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely like a professional. And I'm mad I forgot. It's slipping my mind, but I think he's from like Australia because he was connecting and he was telling me that he's been here for a couple years now and everything. Like he's a model, you know, a fighter and stuff like that.
So, okay, my next question, and I'm so sorry, I'm gonna shut my mouth and let these people talk. So, I'll zip it.com after this. So, oh gosh, did I lose my thought? I think I lost my thought. Okay, it'll come back to me.
I
No,
love the
Buddha Chief.
teamwork.
You keep mentioning your Buddha Chief members. What is a Buddha Chief member? Because I know you are Buddha Chief, but is it like a group as well?
So Buddha Chief started as a cannabis brand.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I
I was gonna ask that.
I was doing like in 2017 I was one of the first promotional companies in New York City that was doing events in cannabis friendly environments. And we was doing like events and stuff, like a consumption lounge type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and from there, I was doing like comedy, poetry, adult game nights and stuff. So from there, it grew, like my membership actually grew. And then when COVID happened, these same individuals they will call for deliveries. You know, so when things started to shift in this whole New York market and the legalization and all that kind of stuff, my business became impacted and trying to figure out how to keep the brand alive and think about what's next. I'm like, why don't I just become the face of the brand? Because people never knew who I was. You know, I wasn't comfortable with putting my image and likeness because the stigma against cannabis. But now, since it's becoming legal, it's
Okay,
like, all
yeah.
right, what the hell do I got to be afraid of? And my charges were from the late 90s, early 2000s. That's off my record now. You know what I'm saying? So I figured I'd, you know, be the face of the brand and I have so many different talents. Why not let my membership know about the talents that I have? You know, and a lot of my members are corporate people, talented people. You know what I'm saying? 9 to 5,
Hmm.
some street people and all that kind of stuff. But however, we all are creative in our own aspect. So I just like to keep people involved in what I have going on and also to support whatever they have going on.
If anybody deserves to be a brand ambassador for a cannabis brand, it would be a black man, because so many black men have gone to jail and have
Yes,
had trumped up charges against them and have spent years away from their families. They've missed births, deaths, baby showers,
yes,
christenings, weddings,
Right.
you name it. They've had their lives taken away from them. And all of a sudden, white men say it's okay. And now they're making millions of dollars. And a lot of these men are still in jail. It is
yeah, yeah,
insane
yeah.
what has happened. It's like when I was a kid, they would say, if you're black, stay back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're white, you're right. And it really seems to set a tone for society, because as soon as a white person, and I am not racist, let me just say that. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not racist, but it is a fact that as soon as a white person finds something to be socially acceptable, it changes the tone. It
Yeah.
changes everything. Now, the little kids who were having seizures and were being told, no, keep having seizures, pot is bad. Now, these kids are living a better quality of life because somebody, some white dude somewhere said, hey, you know what? We
Yeah, this
might
is
be able to
helpful.
do something with this. And now they're making money.
Right.
So
Right.
you definitely deserve to be the brand ambassador as a black man and as the person who created the brand. So I'm happy for you. And I hope
Facts,
you're
facts.
still, doing something with your cannabis. It would be cool if you could open a dispensary or
Well,
something
I'm
under
actually
that
going for.
brand.
I actually applied for the license, so I'm calling it
Awesome.
into existence that
Oh, fire.
that my company will be one of those that get awarded the license.
Well, we're going to put that out
Okay.
into the universe that it is already done. You have your license and
Thank
Right.
count it. We're going to put that out there for you.
thank
It's
you.
crazy
Thank
because
you.
I was
It,
gonna ask you about that too because me being a connoisseur of sorts, you know what I'm saying? Like I've heard of the Buddha Chief, what I mean, kind of the brand. So I was gonna ask you if you was linked to that brand, but you just answered all the questions for me. So that's what's up. That's dope.
No, thank you, brother.
my mother is 82 years old and she smokes more than anyone I've ever met ever. So
Listen, my grandmother's the original Buddha chief. Like she's original. Like I remember when I was a kid, and she was sitting on her bed, like legs crossed, Indian style, and I came into the room, and like I literally like must have jumped in front of the TV, and I was asking her something, and she just rocking back and forth, like not even paying me no attention. And then she just got to the point like, just get ahead. Whatever you ask me, just get ahead. And now in hindsight, when I think about it, grandma was in her vibe. She was in her zone because her eyes was low and she was on the bed, just meditating in that position, chilling, vibing out. And here I come, little kid, blowing her high. Like, go ahead, just go ahead.
marijuana is incredible because when my mom, she had a stroke, and it was so funny. The doctor, he called me in and I don't think he knew, he thought I didn't know. And he was like, I have something to ask you. And she had been in a nursing home briefly for rehab. And he was like, um he just kept humming like he didn't want to say it. He said, okay, your mother, she has the THC in her blood. Like he was just thought I was just going to be like, oh no. I said, oh, she got a lot of THC in her blood. He said, you know this? I said, yes. He said, well, to be honest, it saved her. It saved her. He said that there's something that happens with strokes and the white matter in the brain. And he said the fact that she smoked so much weed kept her from having a brain bleed.
Wow.
Mm.
She had another stroke, no brain bleed, no facial paralysis, no long-term effects or anything from her stroke. Like last, you remember, Doc, in July, my mom couldn't even speak. She was just yelling out and just staring, and she didn't recognize us or anything. In like a matter of days, she was right back
How is she now?
upstairs watching her shows, chilling,
Okay.
probably smoking.
Okay. Glad
Probably
to hear that.
smoking
Yelling,
right
Glad to hear
now.
she's
yelling at
good though. Glad to hear she's
yelling at the
good.
Thank you for
TV.
asking.
No problem.
Yeah, she probably yelling at the TV as we speak.
Okay, I have another question. I'm sorry. If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, I like to ask this question. Who would you collaborate with? Where would you hold your concert? And why would you choose this person?
Oh man.
You only get one though.
Only
Jeez.
one. And you can pick
Whether
from the
whether
great
whether it
beyond.
be whether it be solo artist or group, you only get one. You only get one answer.
And you can't make up your own group. Like, I'm gonna make a group.
Honestly, shit. I'm gonna go with my first. What first came to my mind? It would have to be Biggie. It would have to
Mm.
be Biggie. It would have to be
The
Biggie.
whole the
And
hometown hero.
we will perform. We perform at Restoration on Fulton Street. No,
Okay.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no. Hold on. We will perform at Barclays Center. We'll perform at the Barclays Center, downtown Brooklyn. We'll perform
Okay.
at the Barclays Center and have that shit live streaming all across the globe.
Now, would
Yeah,
you
that'd be
make that a
fire.
marijuana friendly event? Cause you
Of
run the
course,
show. You can do
of
it how you want to
course,
do it. Okay.
of course. Everybody in there will be burning it down. Of course.
Right. And you already know Big on stage with it. Every
Yeah, of
concert
course,
he
of
did,
course.
he was on stage. He was on stage with it. So
I always felt that I never got a chance to meet Big. But I know, a few of Junior Mafia. I always felt that if because when he passed away, I was in I think the 10th grade or something like that. But I feel like
mm,
if he was accessible in the neighborhood and the person that he was and seeing like what my team was doing back then, because I used to be a part of a group as well. And if he saw what we was doing, he would have put us on. He just give me that vibe. And even from some of the people that I met that's associated with him, he was big on putting his people on. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm
if he was writing and doing what he was doing for Junior Mafia, and I just personally feel like if he would have saw what me and my team was doing on an independent level, he'd have been like, yo, I'm fucking with them dudes over there because they doing what they need to do and all they just need is a light on them. And plus they from the home team. I
right,
just feel like
right.
Big was that type of person.
Yeah, he was huge on Bedford on the Bedford Stars.
Yeah.
Buddha, man, were you ever signed as a under your last alias or your last name to a label, major label, or always independent?
As an artist, not my well, I'm formally known as Vaughn Jeff. I was never signed as an artist, but I come from the executive side of the music industry. I'm director of A&R for Fight Club MTV2, the rap battle show.
Yeah.
So most
hmm
people know
Yeah,
me
I
in the
remember that.
industry as Vaughn Jeff, the director A&R for Fight Club. But no, I was never signed as an artist. Like music is more so like my hobby, and you know, I used to really like ride around doing deliveries, listening to my music, and some people would be like, "Yo, who's that?" And I'd be like, "That's me." They be like,
Mm.
"You just ride around and listen to yourself." They're like, "Yo, dude, you bugging. Like, you need to give it a shot." And
Wow.
with my last mixtape, this year actually makes 10 years since I put out my Count Me In mixtape. And all I did was really like I did a couple videos, I put it on SoundCloud, but I never did no marketing and promotion with it. But what I did, I submitted it to some music supervisors, and I have several songs um off that project and another project I had put together in a movie, a feature film executive produced by Alicia Keys. It's
Right.
called
Mm.
Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete. That came
Mm.
out like in 2014, starring Jennifer Hudson, Anthony Mackie, Jeffrey Wright, Jordan Spark. You
hmm
know, so I feel like I look at success as like what you can accomplish, not necessarily a monetary amount. So I feel successful in a lot of the things that I've done industry wise. Like I set up goals, and it's like a checklist. I've been checking them off. So like right now, I'm actually gonna push the Count Me In mixtape because it's like it's my content, and some of the stuff that I was talking on that mixtape is very relevant to what's happening in society right now.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm a
So
big supporter
so
of
to answer your
Bliss.
question, all of that was independent. Everything I've done up until now is independent. Myself, my own dollar, my own vision. I hire certain people to do certain things to make the quality professional. And even my old videos, like I always had a standard of quality. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So
Right,
like
right.
even that Buddha Chief video, like I put some money into that video. Fred Focus is not cheap.
Mm.
But I'm big on quality.
Mm. Would
Now,
we ever see? Go ahead.
uh, my fault. Now, in Buddha Chief, with the repeat of the chant. Now, I mean, I know it's purposeful, but what was the ideal behind that,
Oh,
or what was the thought
you
process?
get my
Uh,
energy, Buddha Chief. I be praying for my
right,
enemy, Buddha Chief, Buddha Chief.
right.
So like in the background of that song, you can hear me going ch 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 ch. Buddha.
Right, right, right,
So
right,
that
right,
song is
right.
called Buddha Chi. So you know Chi, CHI is
Energy,
energy.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So, people that hear that, so prime example, my daughter, she's 3 years old. She asked me, Daddy, I want Buddha Chief. Daddy, I want to hear Buddha Chief. And she sings ch 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 ch. So basically that's like one of those things that
It's
you
a
hear.
mantra.
It's a
I
mantra,
know.
as
Right,
well as when I performing it, that's what the crowd is going to be calling response. That's what they're going to be saying. And
right,
the
right,
vibe,
right.
the vibe of that. So for me, that song there is what METHOD, man, was for Meth. That put that stamp, that name stamp on
Mm.
him as an artist. So by the time
Okay.
people really get wind of, like I'm really, really pushing Get Down because of the type of record that it is. But by the time they double back and do their research about Buddha Chief, that's gonna be the name, that's gonna be the song to put the stamp on the name Buddha Chief and me as an artist.
Mm.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay.
It lifts
Yeah,
it
yeah. And
lifts
get
the
and get down
energy.
is fire.
Say it again.
I said it lifts the energy.
Thank you, thank you, and I appreciate you for recognizing that because that's like the first thing that I said. Like, um, I'm your pusher, got pull, magnetic aura, attracting all the shine. Now I'm lit like auroras. Like that's like just attraction, like law of attraction, like you
Hmm.
said earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So of course, metaphorically talking about push as far as pushing the butt and everything. I'm your pusher, but I got pull. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right, right,
But
right.
even lit
All
like
it's all about
auroras,
polarity.
hmm
most people aren't rapping about auroras. You know what I'm saying? Like so many people don't even know what auroras are. So it's just like me being kind of a little bit of a nerd listening to your music. I'm like, you just said auroras. What you know about it? Like this is gold right here. Cause like
oh
I
man,
the way I speak, like some people get annoyed with me because I use certain words. And to hear somebody using those words and knowing what they mean, I'm like, I found my people. So this
nice,
is
nice,
good.
nice.
This is
I
really good.
appreciate you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
good
Man,
no
stuff.
doubt. Yeah,
I like y'all. I
cause
like y'all. I like y'all energy as a team, though. Y'all got great energy. You know what I'm saying? The way that y'all
Thank
ping
you.
pong and the questions that y'all asking is very relevant. And I'm picky about the interviews that I do because I'm not here for the nonsense. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I'm not here to talk about celebrities or anybody else. It's more so about talking about myself and my experience and how I can impact other people. You know what I'm saying? And the way that we're communicating, it's like a dialogue. It's not really like an interview style. So it's like this is why, we could go on for hours doing this. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
we
saying?
too.
And not even
facts,
pay attention
facts.
to the time. So I,
We
I
too.
appreciate the energy that y'all actually, the platform that y'all actually bringing.
Man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Salute to that. I appreciate that, yo.
Hey, as a fan of hip hop, man, when I heard that particular song, I thought about, yo, that's an old school record from Edo G and the Bulldogs,
It
man.
was.
That record alone, then Mary took it and flipped it, and now you took it and flipped it. Will we ever see a possible remix or a collab with you and Ed OG? Or,
So
well, before you
that's
go,
in,
what does he think about the record? That's what I really want to know. Did he hear it, or did you get responses back from him at all about it?
so that's definitely in my intentions, right?
Mm,
So I'm big on integrity. So
mm,
I did reach out to him, right, and let him hear the record, and he likes the record. So
Okay.
let me take a little bit further back, right? He sampled from Hamilton Bohannon. Hamilton Bohannon, he passed away, but his kids control his estate. So with the company that I got
Mm.
on board working on clearing the sample, they reached out to his kids and they said that because there was people that tried to clear this stuff from before me, you know,
Right, right.
and they said, well, let us hear the record. So upon hearing the record, they gave the green light. They liked
Oh,
the record, you know what I'm saying? Because of the content and what it
that's
actually
awesome.
stands for. So that's the green light from the Bohannon side. And I also got the green light from LOG side. So, but I'm still going through the process of clearing the sample and everything. And it's like this is beyond me. Like they have to the companies have to do what they need to do to figure out what they got to do on their end. but I
Right.
can't continue to hold this record because tomorrow, God forbid, somebody could be killed. You know what I'm saying? At the somebody that look like us doing the killing and killing somebody that look like us. You know what I'm saying? So the dialogue from this record is bigger than just a record. You know what I'm saying? The conversation has to be had. So like I can no longer hold on. I can no longer hold on to the record anymore. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so to answer your question, yes, I do have the green light. I do got like the thumbs up for it and everything. But
You got the blessing for it.
yeah, I'm still working it. Still working it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, I think we might have a comment. Hold on, real quick. Uh-oh.
That's a blessing from the
Hannah.
I
ancestors. Hamilton Bohannon. That
I actually
was,
just pulled thing. Yeah, I was doing an interview real quick.
hey, Jimmy.
Man, I guess my other question is, you do a lot in the community. Can you expand a little bit on some of the things that you do in the community back home?
Uh, all right. So where do I begin with this? I've always considered myself a necessity to my community, and it started like I was saying, like with the stigma with cannabis, right? I always felt like I was a necessity to my community because um I never really dealt with narcotics. You know what I'm saying? I know what that did and how it impacted our people, and I never felt like with the cannabis that I was doing anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? Even though
Mm.
people had a
Had a
view
view
and had
and
their
had
perception of cannabis, I felt like I was a necessity. So I had people that would introduce me to their mother, their grandmothers, their husband, their aunts, their families. They would recommend me, and I always conducted good business on that level. And even on the street level, I've been in my fair share of trials and tribulations, but I never got to the extent of I may have felt like doing harm to somebody, but I never took it to that extent because I knew there's the bigger purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I, I
Hmm.
I applaud myself. So like even in the Get Down record, I said I made my name without killing or doing the bid.
Yep.
And that's no
Right.
knock to anybody else, but I'm just representing for who I am and what I stand for and just being me, you know. So in that aspect, I felt like I was doing a service to my community. I actually took the money that I've made from cannabis and started um a record label. This was back in the early 2000s where, I was, managing and helping other people in the community get their careers off the ground. The murals that I curated in my neighborhood is funded by cannabis money. So like I said, the murals is to inspire the community, beautify the neighborhood, preserve the culture. I even I managed the artist, and this particular artist, his father is my OG, and he watched me come up, and he was like, "Yo, help my son." And his son is younger than I am. And at this particular time, this was back in like 2012, 2013, when I was doing the Count Me In project, and I told him like, you know what, I can't manage you while I'm doing my own music, but whatever you see me doing, do that times 10. And he actually was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I said, you know what? I would hate for something to happen to him, and I never gave him a chance. So that's when I actually stopped doing my music and started focusing on him and putting my resources and intellectual vision behind supporting him. And we ended up going on tour in 2017, and he was opening up on tour for Chief Keef. You know,
That's awesome.
so that's in that aspect,
Yeah.
that's
Shout
one of
out
the
for
ways of
that.
me giving back. You know what I'm saying? By like, I could have gave him a whole bunch of weed and say, "Yo, go crazy in the projects and sell weed and here go some guns or whatever." Like, I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I said, you know
Right.
what?
Right.
You want to be a rapper? You want this? What you want to focus on? I'm gonna support you with this. So that's something in a way. And he's a part of a organization. I don't want to say gang and all that kind of stuff, but he's a part. He's of that essence. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
right now, he's not dead. He's not in jail. He's
That's what's
about to be a father again. You know what I'm saying? He's married. So he's doing things in his life that I feel like me being involved in his life is has a presence in what he's doing now. You know what I'm saying? There was times he wanted to do knucklehead stuff, and I was like, nah, you're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And he always thanks me. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, you like a real mentor and big father figure. You know what I mean? I appreciate the guidance that you've given me. So even though I'm not necessarily managing him now, but he has his own record label, he has companies and stuff, and he wants to do great things. So I'm just glad that I was able to impact his life in that manner. And I also have the docu-series, the curated docu-series that I'm working on um, to impact the people and stuff like that. So I actually interviewed and got testimonies from friends and family. And the first episode is talking about mental health awareness. And the first episode talks about mental health awareness, and the second episode touches on the crack epidemic and how it impacted us. So the project is called The Curator, which is spelled TheCurater. And we're talking about the illnesses and traumas that we experience coming up in these urban neighborhoods, but we're just making aware these illnesses and trauma, but we're not staying stuck there. We're moving forward with a remedy and, for lack of better words, a cure. And it's a docu-series because trauma is not healed in a one quick fix. You know what I'm saying? So it's a series that's that's channeling the journey of me working on myself and being the example of what it looks like to overcome depression and deal with anxiety and deal with the things that come growing up in these neighborhoods.
So,
Fire.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sunshine.
So I was just gonna say, like, with your music and everything, I know that's an important career for you, but I also kind of see you teaching, but like you teaching teachers. So because the way you rap and your music and your lyrics and everything, you mentioned being a mentor, and I think that you you are a person who's good to lead by example, and so you can show these kids, you know, I did this without being violent. I did this without selling harmful drugs. I did this while being respectful to my family members. I don't degrade women, and you can lay tracks for 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 a future generation. And so I don't know. I just think it would be cool if you did like some sort of consulting with, teachers who deal with people, with young people, or recreation centers, and, just go and like do speeches, or give speeches and seminars, and you can back yourself up with that. He got dropped.
Ah, uh,
It's okay.
we got
StreamYard loves us.
wait a minute.
It's
There
okay.
you go. Here you go.
So you
There you
said like going in schools and stuff?
Yeah, like doing consulting. Um, a lot of these teachers don't know how to relate to these children, and you have a lot of things that are going on in the schools because of that disconnect, and you seem like a person who
Right.
could get through to young people.
Well, that's definitely the plan. I forgot to mention I actually recently received my 501c3 status. Um, 501c3 status, and I used to go into the schools and talk, like just like the teachers
See,
or
I
or the,
visualized it. I visualized you doing it. I literally saw you doing it, and I thought it was something that you should do, but you already do it. So,
so the thing is, they would have me come and do like career days, and I'm still figuring myself out. So I'm not going to stand up there in front of the kids and talk like I got it all going and I figured everything out. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather come and do like a mentorship. You know what I'm saying? So exactly
hmm
like you're saying. And when I started to do like the mentorship program and connect with them, like I tell them from my experiences, but also to connect with them to figure out what is it that you want to do, where you're going, and how can I assist you to get to where you're
Hmm.
going. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to connect with them more on that level. So
that's
now I
awesome.
feel I have
Right.
the
That's the key.
package. Now I feel I have the package as far as like with my music, with the docu series, with the murals that I curated, and even incorporating some things into fashion. These are like my tools that I use to amplify my message and my purpose and connect with them. So I may not connect with you with the music, but when you watch this docu series, you're gonna relate to it some way somehow. Even if you don't relate with me, you're gonna relate with somebody in the docu series. or you may just like the murals, or you may just like the fashion. Some way, somehow, I'm gonna try to get your attention and connect with you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not only just the youth, because like you said, like some of these teachers need mentorship as well. And a huge disconnection comes from the authoritative figure. Like parents are having problems with their kids, teachers are having problems
Mm-hmm.
with students, the police is having problems with civilians. So all around the board, there's just a disconnect. But there's a way to figure this thing out. I don't have all the answers, but I just know what I'm capable of because I can only speak for myself.
We have FJ with a question. Did your childhood shape you into who you are today?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So as far as my childhood, I'm grateful that, my dad is still alive. We speak, not as often as I would like to, but my dad wasn't really around growing up. So my mom's and my grandmother were like my immediates. My uncles, they were hustlers. My stepfather was a hustler. Um, but I come from that cloth of the village actually raised me. So with my mother being a correction officer, we used to bump heads with me selling weed and her being a correction officer. So
Mm,
I always was like kind of like hiding what I'm doing and stuff like that. And and that was just like I never wanted to disappoint her because her whole thing was like I never want to see you on the other side of those bars. And there
right.
was one time that I did get arrested, and she ended up coming to the cell because she was still in a job at that time. And she some way somehow she found out that I had got arrested. And the way that made me feel, that disappointment that I put on her, is like, you know what, I kind of like shifted my way of hustling. But I was never into like the gaudy jewelry, the flashy cars and all that kind of stuff. So just me being reserved, that allowed me to, add some time. I have a line in the song where I said, other niggas bought rollies, me, I just bought time. And me buying time is not being flashy and wanting that appeal that come along with hustling and all that kind of stuff. Like most of my money went to reinvesting into myself, reinvesting into my community, and reinvesting into my brand. So who I am now is definitely a testament to how I was raised and stuff.
That's a double entendre too, because you bought time by not buying those flashy things, because a lot of those flashy things can cause people to lose their life. So by not buying those things, you literally bought time.
Or lose time by having to give time, spending time in jail.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yep.
got I got Twitter speaking too. That's why I usually wondering what I was doing. I was reading something. It says, "Have there ever been any books that you've read that have helped you through your journey?"
Yes. I did some transformation work back in 2016. But some books that's helped me is I Am by Howard Falco, A Happy Pocket Full of Money, um, A Black History Reader by Dr. Claude Anderson.
That's my guy
Uh,
right there.
yeah, definitely. And I actually just bought that book for my cousin. She's in the 11th grade, and I gave her that book because I said, school is teaching you from one perspective, from the DOE
Hmm.
perspective. You know what I'm saying? From the white people's perspective, the supremacist
Right.
perspective. But here it is, a
Department of
black
Ed, yeah,
scholar.
I'm with you.
Here's a black scholar that's telling you the same information that they're trying to teach you, but from another perspective. And this was just this week that I had ordered the book for, and she actually got the book now. So like, that's something that I recommend. So these books that I'm stating, are books that's like self-development books. You know what I'm saying?
Almost
I'm in the
life changing.
phase I'm in the phase of unlearning tradition and re-educating myself. A lot of that stuff that I learned in school, I realize is nah, that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did things that passed the class and all that kind of stuff, but I never really retained that knowledge, and to some extent, it don't even apply in this real world. So the information and knowledge that I'm gaining now is molding me to even speak like this and speak with this confidence because I'm learning that I don't come from slavery. I'm learning about
Right.
myself. And when they talk about knowledge of self, that's what life is about. You could learn chemistry, mathematics, engineering, whatever it is. If you don't know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a millionaire. Your parents can be wealthy billionaires. But if you don't know yourself and you got all these resources from your parents, that money doesn't even matter.
You'll
Right.
always be
Wealthy people
miserable.
take their lives every day.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. They commit
Every day.
suicide. They do all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't
That
know
was that
themselves.
was a bar,
But you
son,
know,
goddess.
huh?
I
Huh?
said that was a bar.
Yeah.
You just
We
Yeah.
dropped a
all.
bar on us.
Yeah, but those are a few books that I recommend. There's other books that I have read. It's just like not fresh on my mind right
Have you
now.
ever read The Alchemist?
I did read The Alchemist. I also read The Four Agreements. There's another one to The Four Agreements. The Five Agreements. I read
Yeah.
I read Prodigy's book. I was in the middle of reading 50 Cent's book.
Yeah.
Um, I read quite
I
a
was
few books.
reading The Four
I'm a reader
Agreements.
though. I'm a reader though. I'm definitely
Yeah,
I like to read.
yeah. You
That's
sound pretty well versed.
yeah.
Read a few
If
Donald Goines book.
I always mess up on the second agreement. And I told D boys, like, don't take anything personal. I'm like so bad. I'm so
No,
bad
but
at
it's
it.
practice. It's practice because like when you
I'm
so
trying though.
so one thing about these books that I've read, so Happy Pocket Full of Money and I read both of those books twice. I'm actually on a third time reading I Am because as you go along your journey, it's gonna apply different each time that you read it. You know what I'm saying? So, we evolve every 5 to 7 years as people. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm doing now, my birthday is March 16th. So within a couple of days, my birthday will be here. But I'm working towards I who I intend to be by the time I start approaching my 50s. And I'm working on that from now.
Mm.
So
right.
I'm a very present person, but like what I want to see, I work on it like actively, daily.
From
Mm.
a physical standpoint, our bodies regenerate even faster, like in a matter of months. Some of our organs regenerate. So I like to
Hmm.
suggest another book to you is by Deepak Chopra. It's called Magical Mind, Magical Body. And it is such a good
Hmm.
book because I've dealt with like anxiety and depression. And he
Mm,
talks about how certain things we can do that we can create chemicals in our body that where a doctor would say, here, take this Valium. He said, you can create chemicals in the body with your brain that act as Valium. And he talked about how if you buy, he called them leukocytes or leuka something that cure cancer. And he said, but these same chemicals are released when a person goes and gets on a Ferris wheel, or when they get on a roller coaster, or when they do something that releases great joy in their body releases those same very hormones. He says, so we have
Hmm.
the capability of curing cancers and curing depression and anxiety with our own bodies. We just have to know how to use it as a tool. And
Yeah, they
I'm like,
become those things become inhibitors.
yeah, and it's a really good book. Again, it's Magical Mind, Magical Body.
Magical Mind, Magical Body. I'm gonna check that
Dope.
out.
And yours is Pocket Full of Happy Pocket Full of Money.
Happy Pocket Full of Money by David Cameron, and I Am by Howard Falco,
I'm gonna
and
grab those tonight.
A Black
Yeah,
History Reader
I
by
am.
Dr. Claude Anderson.
All right. Dope. Hey man, I want to thank you. And I know we've been trying to do this interview for it's been over a month. I wish we really could have got you on. Well, we still made Black History Month, didn't we? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
we
last.
definitely did.
I
Definitely
mean,
did.
I mean,
Listen,
We,
Black History is every day. Black History is
Every
every
day,
day, though,
technically,
man.
that's right. That's
It's
like
right.
every day. So
365.
we just gotta create that shift and like not only like I seen somebody recently. They was saying that if you look at Black History Month, right?
Mm.
it's so much distractions. You got All-Star Weekend, you
We were
got the
just talking about that.
Grammys, you got the
Asian
Grammys,
something.
Valentine's Day, you got
Mm,
President's Day,
mm,
midwinter recess where the kids is out of school. And that's just
mhm.
5 that I just named already
They have like some sort of Asian
within this
fest
short
too.
month. Say it
Mardi
again.
Gras.
There's an Asian fest that they do early on, and it's like at the very beginning they do something for the Asian community too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so we
Yeah,
gotta really get in this
start of the
mindset
month.
that every day is Father's Day, every day is Mother's Day, every
Mhm.
day is Thanksgiving, every day is Black History. Like, you know, we gotta just really live and embody that.
I say that
Fast.
all the time because they'll be all stressed out about when to cook. I'm like, if we want to cook Friday, the day after, we can cook it. We thankful every day. We don't have to do this because somebody tells us this. Like I always tell him, I don't want anything for Valentine's Day because I don't like the idea of someone dictating a day for love. Cause
Right.
I'll get something any day that I feel like coming in the house.
You
Like,
need to
look what
write
I
a
got
book.
for you.
You need to write a book because I think a lot of women should hear the stuff that you're saying.
Facts.
Thank you. You know, actually, I was 139 pages into a book about my life, but there's a certain part that I get to, and I just always stop. I always get nervous. I always get anxious, and I stop. But I think maybe I should switch gears and write something different because I posted a video and there was a woman named Dizzy Doll. I think that's her name. She was on TikTok and she was just talking so bad about black men. And she was just saying how they were horrible. And like I posted a response to it and it really made me sad because I'm like, have you dated all black men? Like it was so disturbing the way she was talking about black men. And I'm like, my dad was a black man. My brothers are black men. I know these guys. You know, you're a black man. Like, how can you say these horrible things? And the thing that hurt me even more was women were in there agreeing. Yeah, girl,
Mm.
you right. And I'm tired too. And I'm like, who sent you? Who sent you here to say these things?
She got
You
to
know,
unlearn
because
position. She got to unlearn
She was
position
an
about
agent.
herself.
yeah, you know
But I
what I'm
want to.
saying? Because now you got everybody else co-signing this.
But I
Yeah,
need
she
you to
was
do
an
me a
agent.
favor, right?
Hmm.
You said you were 139 pages in.
I am.
Next year, this day, February 28th, I want to be reading your book.
Ooh, okay.
So next year, listen, I need D Poise and Doc Beasley to hold her accountable that next year, February 28th, I should be able to physically, even if it's not printed and distributed, I want to be able to read it. I want to be able to read it, even if it's a PDF or something like that. I want to be able to
Look,
read your book.
I'm gonna title the book "I Love You, Black Man," and there's nothing you can do about it
Oh, I like that.
Shout out to
Oh,
that.
I like that. I like that.
because it is so it's so important. Like so many like black men go through depression. Like we did a show before and we talked about depression. And I actually had guy friends of mine. This was around the time when Robin Williams died. And they talked about how he was this comedic presence, but he was dealing with depression. And I had friends of mine who were black men and they reached out to me and they were like, you know, I think I'm dealing with depression. This is happening, that's happening. This is and I was like, yeah, that's depression. But we live in a society where as black women, a lot of us are a little too hard, you know? And so I think a lot of men are afraid to speak up because they think like they'll be looked at as less than manly, or they feel like they're putting bullets in her gun. So when we have a beef, you're going to be like, oh, you punk. Oh, you, that's why you can't. Oh, that's why you were crying. So you have a man who's keeping all of this stuff bottled up inside and he can't even express and he can't even express to the person who's supposed to be his help, who's supposed to be there for him. And we're being
Right. You gotta be able
and
to
a
trust
lot
the
of
woman
women are
you with.
being conditioned to be that way. And I blame the feminist movement in this country because a lot of women who look like me, that's not our movement. I don't go to women's marches. I
It
don't go to
wasn't your
things
fight.
like that because that's not our fight. But a lot of us believe it is, and they be right down there with them. But unlike when somebody dies, do you see them at our march? No, we
No.
got a different fight. So when you
I
start,
commend you.
it's a divide, and our sisters don't even see that we're being divided from each other, and being divided from our men. And that's the beginning of the destruction of the family. And this has been going on since the 70s. I remember being a kid watching What's Happening, and the mom
Mm,
and the dad were both in the home. They had a fight. He was no longer on the show.
mm-hmm.
James Evans goes off to work away from home to earn money for his family. He dies. That's the
They
birth of the
killed him.
single black woman on television.
They killed
Mm.
him
Wow.
off.
And that's what we grew up seeing. I'm 50 years old. I'm 51 years
Wow.
old. And that's what we grew up seeing. So they started feeding us this mentality a long time ago. But they disguised it as, you go, girl. You single, you powerful. You can do this by yourself. You don't need a man. Yes, you do.
I'm gonna have to reconnect with you on that because um like I said, the first episode of the Curator touches on mental health awareness, but one of my future episodes will touch on restoring the black family. And I said in another interview that I want to connect with men that would like to be apologetic and also with women that want to be accountable for the role that they play because you know it starts with the dialogue. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the stuff that you're saying is very valid, especially coming from a woman, a black woman. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of our situations stem from our childhood, from our mothers beating us and putting us on punishment for just trying to speak and be vocal about what we're feeling and our emotions. So it's like when you get beat to be like, shut up and stop crying, and you can't really express how you're feeling, it ties back to that childhood. You know what I'm saying? So now we in these relationships and it
Scared to
comes out,
express.
the fear to express it, and then sometimes it come out the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
like we definitely deal with a lot outside of the household as black men. And we may not intend to bring that world and stress on our shoulders home. We just want to come home to peace. But then when there's no peace in the household, it's like, damn, like, and every black man did not necessarily just leave the household. Some black men was pushed. Some black men didn't know how to find the outlet of what he was dealing with. Didn't have an outlet to speak about what he was dealing with. So there it is, like you just leave, or you probably find comfort in another woman, or you end up doing some sort of dumb move and you end up going to jail, or whatever the case may be. A lot of this stuff may be a reaction that wasn't made, a bad decision that was made in the moment that changed the
Due to
trajectory of some of our lives.
due to the
But the
pressures.
thing, like you
Right.
said, the
Due to
thing
that.
is though we're looking at this thing as a present thing, but it's not. All of this stuff has an origin, and a lot of these tracks were
Systematic.
laid a long time ago.
It's systematic.
Because you have to have a safe space, and if you grow up in a safe space, then as you get older, you'll create a safe space. But if you don't have a
Facts.
safe space when you're a young person, when you get older, a lot of times you don't even know what that safe space is supposed to look like.
Right.
I've dealt with
To even
with
create one.
someone who, if you don't receive love, a lot of times you can't give love because you don't even know what that looks like. So you may
Facts.
be just trying to figure your way out. So hopefully for a lot of men, they find somebody who will give them that safe space to figure things out and to learn their
All of
way
that still
through.
goes back to knowledge of self, like you
Hmm.
spoke speaking of
Right.
earlier.
Exactly. Exactly, Doc. So that's what I was actually about to say because I recently learned to love myself. I wasn't taught to love myself. I wasn't taught to accept myself. So I recently learned to love myself for who I am and who I'm not. And
That's
I think
beautiful.
in
Mm,
relationships and the
that's
dynamics of
huge.
relationships, when you're not looking for your partner to necessarily fill a void within you, if we approach this situation where it's like I love myself wholeheartedly, you love yourself wholeheartedly, and the excess of love that we have just pour into each other, that's a beautiful relationship. And at the same
Absolutely.
token, we all come with back stories, baggage, and traumas. But if we approach this like, you know what, let's try to heal each other. Let's try to learn and grow with each other and heal each other, not to try to make you the blame of my past traumas.
Mhm.
So, and this is dialogue that's needed to happen on the mainstream level.
In
Facts.
this country, we even promote or romanticize dysfunction and incompleteness, because how many
Because
times have you ever heard people say, oh, we're together, we make a whole, two halves make a whole. I don't want to be 50 cent of a person. I'm 100% me. I need to be 100%.
Mhm.
And my spouse needs to be 100%. 100%. We got to be complete people and come together.
Right,
But here,
right.
everybody's like, oh, well, two halves make a whole, or you bring this portion and I bring that portion. No, you bring your full self into the thing. And fortunately, luckily, hopefully you'll have somebody who can support your full self and accept your full self.
and those halves is why that glass remains unfull.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Mm.
And
Because
that's why
everybody
when
looking at
things fall
halves,
short,
right?
they're
Everybody
like,
looking at
why
halves
didn't you
versus
give me this?
Because they expect somebody else to fill that void.
I needed
facts.
you to give me that. Well, no, you should have had that anyway, and I would have enjoyed that about you. And then I have this thing over here that you can enjoy about me. But that's not what we're taught. That's not, and generally speaking. That's not even a racial thing. That's just like society. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They romanticize being
socially, the
incomplete.
construct is designed to teach people to find happiness in other things and other people other than what I mean outside of
Food,
themselves.
drugs, shopping, gambling, all the
Social
stuff.
media.
Yep.
So we got
Deep.
some work
All
to
of
do
that.
though. We
For
definitely have
sure.
some work to do. And I think that I know once upon a time I wanted to save the world. I'm not giving that much of myself anymore. I just really want to connect. I intend to connect with like-minded people such as yourselves. And we just connect. And the same way what we're doing on this platform right now, it's gonna multiply and spread out, you know what I'm saying?
See
But
that.
we
Yes.
just gotta show people that we are unified and we are going through some of the same struggles, you know what I'm saying? And make
Yeah, we
the
we
make it okay to communicate about what you're dealing with, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying just go put your business out there on social media. Find somebody that you can confide in and communicate what's going on. And when you communicate, you realize, damn, like a lot of people are going through the same stuff that I'm going through,
Hmm.
going through the
This
same
right.
stuff. But
this is
we
the
as a
drop,
culture,
y'all.
we say like, oh, we don't want nobody in our business, and what goes in my household stays in the household. But the crazy thing is, the people next door probably going through some of the same stuff. It wasn't until I started to talk to my fellow brothers that I got some great information. But I was trying to handle things on my own. But once I started to
Hmm.
be
Mhm.
vocal about what I was experiencing, that's how I gained knowledge on how to deal with what I was dealing with. Because I realized, like, damn, like I ask people, how do you handle your problems? That's a question that's not normally asked because some people want to just present themselves like they just perfect.
Like they
No
got it
one is
all
Right.
perfect.
together.
No
Hmm.
one is
Right.
perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I want to talk to that person to understand, like, yo, how did you get through your trials and tribulations? Because maybe you could give me some information that could give me a shortcut.
Hmm.
And for
And
me, the
another
best
thing
way,
across my childhood, I learned from watching other people's mistakes. That's how I
yeah,
got this far because like I said, just watching other people's mistakes and not going down
that,
certain paths.
Yep.
and that's what I was gonna say. Like a lot of times, the best way for people to learn is to watch, but most people refuse to take heed or credence to what they see and what they hear. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? First off, and then for me, I would say like the best way for me to deal with issues and problems in my life is pour into other people. I help other people. I focus on other people and do for other people, and it makes most literally probably 98% of the time it makes my situation seem minuscule,
Yeah.
And you receive blessings by to just impacting other people too.
Yep.
and it gives you perspective. It makes you understand like, oh, okay, damn, I was tripping off that, or I was bugging. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's a situation, or yeah, it's an issue that needs to be dealt with, tended to, what have you. But the amount of energy that we give things to make them larger than what they are
Right,
usually
right.
are usually the things that create our anxiety, our depressions, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying?
A friend gave me a jewel specifically for that, right? This was a few years ago. My friend, I had a situation. He was like, "Are you bigger than the situation, or is the situation bigger than you?" And I took a moment to process what he just asked me, and I started to apply that to certain things because I was the type of person like I would react to so much stuff that was like didn't
Mhm.
even deserve my energy. So I
Mm-hmm.
started to respond to things and really think about what the situation is. And when you think about it, you be like, that shit don't even matter.
Yeah.
It's not even that serious, but because of the conditions that we live in, and we make it bigger than what it actually is.
I got a saying I tell my kids. One of the main things I tell all my and I got all girls, but I tell my kids, don't focus on the things that don't matter.
It's true.
Right.
Nope.
And
You
they're like,
can't.
well, Dad
Yeah.
said X, Y, Z, and I'm like, okay, well, you already know my first question to you.
Mhm.
Does it matter? How is
Does
it
it
Doesn't
matter?
matter.
relevant to what's going on? How is it affecting you? What is it changing? If it's not changing anything, if it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, then what does it matter?
Yep. And especially if you have no control over it.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like when you watch other people, you may not even be watching those people for the purpose of learning what to do. Sometimes we can watch people and just know what we don't want to do. Like we'll
Right.
know, okay, I may not have the answer here, but at least I know I don't want to do that. That I know
Right,
what I
right,
shouldn't
right.
do, because you can see how certain things that people are doing impact them. And like I think you said earlier how you learn from watching other people. You see how other people get their bumps and bruises. People used to say, "Oh, well, you won't learn till you touch you." What do you say? Play with fire, you get burnt. Oh, he got to
Yeah.
touch the fire to learn. No, I can see somebody else touch fire, and I can pretty much figure out I don't need to do that. So
Right,
it's good
right.
to watch other people and pay attention. So learn those lessons.
Yep. I want to thank you, man. This time, I think we went way over what you probably thought, but it was is a dope conversation. I'm glad that we finally got this to happen, and it was well worth the
Yeah,
wait.
dope vibe.
And
Yeah,
we'll be back at this again. This is not our
yeah,
first rodeo.
Yeah.
for sure,
This
man.
this is the drop in the pond, y'all. Y'all know
Yeah,
how you drop something in the pond and it ripples out?
Hmm.
This is the ripple. So this
Right,
is
right.
good. I like this. I like the
you
energy.
didn't put something on Sunshine, so you gotta come back, and if she don't do what you asked her to do, then it
Reach
ain't.
out for
Listen,
your documentary. I would love to be a part of it.
I'm gonna share the two links because it's on my YouTube page, but it's unlisted. I'll share it with y'all for y'all to actually take a look at it.
Oh yes, definitely.
I'll
Oh yeah,
share it with y'all
dope
to
for
take a
sure.
look at. And honestly, if there's something there that y'all would love to have me back, because that's like a whole nother conversation. So we started with the record, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, these are different tools that I'm using to market, um, like my whole my agenda and platform. So I would love to share that with y'all. And like I said, if there's anything that sparks from watching that, let's get back at it again because it's going to take a collective effort to really get our people, the like-minded ones, on the same page. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely have a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying?
I
Facts,
write and
facts.
I edit and I write poetry too. So if you ever would want to collaborate on a book, I think that would be good to have like a book of a black man and a black woman write a book together, and we're not a couple. So that would be even more dope because we're coming at this as people. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like that. I like
People
that. I
advising
like that.
people.
I like that. And I the funny thing is I already have notes. Like I intend to do a book, but I got a lot up here. You know what I'm saying? So if that's something that you, as far as the writing aspect, we can definitely collaborate on that as well.
Sounds good.
So I'll be interested in that.
Okay.
All right.
And can I just text the number that I had called you on?
Mhm.
D.
Yeah, for sure,
All
man.
right, I text you. I text you the 2 episodes, and you can share it with Sunshine and share it with Doc.
For sure, man.
Thank
For
you.
sure,
Um,
for sure.
where can anybody that's watching and anybody that'll listen to this podcast later find you and find your music and everything?
You can go to my website www.buddhachief.com. That's BUDDHACHIEF. And from there you can get my YouTube, my SoundCloud, the streaming platforms where the music is on. Um, yeah, everything is there. Once you go to the website, you can get my bio and everything. So yeah, just go straight to the website. My Instagram is BUDDHACHIEF _ THEBRAND. That's my artist page. And feel free to follow my personal page as well. That's Vaughn Jeff _ Frank Mick, VONJEFF _ FRANCMICK.
Right, man. Like we said, man, anytime you want to come back, man, the door is open, bro. Just holler, man. It's been a
For
Appreciate y'all.
sure.
pleasure to have you on, man.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Likewise, likewise.
All right,
All
bro.
right.
Salute, sir.
All right, bro.
I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
All right.
doubt.
All right, bro.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
That
Dope,
was
man.
dope.
Dope interview, family.
That was
I
dope.
love it.
I could just float up right on up out of this seat right now. That was some good energy.
Yeah. He good people. I like homie. Outside of the music, like he actually is using his platform to, you know what I'm saying, really try to make not only an impact but bring about some change. So that's always fire, always dope to see, you know what I'm saying, and always dope to try to be a part of.
That's what's
Okay.
up.
He ain't waste no time. He already sent something. He
That's
ain't waste
good.
no time.
I
Look,
like that.
I
I
have a
like that.
question. What's up with our water? Are we endangered? Like what's going on? Because they said nothing happened from the train derailment, right? But
That's what
where's
they
all the
say.
water going? The water is still disappearing out the stores. What is happening?
I mean, people. I mean, but here, how can I put it? Anytime there's any type of um, alert, alarm, what
Yeah.
have you, people go to the extremes. So I mean,
I feel
it's
like they send them out on purpose.
they
Like
do,
we got a little
they
extra
do.
water. We need to unload some of this stuff. So
I don't even know if it's that. I think more of it is still in their attempts to creating a food desert.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because things become less and less available. You know what I mean? And the options get low. And here in a minute, I feel like America is going to start reaping, unfortunately, what it has sown and for so
Other
long
places.
when it comes to like putting sanctions on all these countries and creating, desolate countries and areas and what have you, and all these things that they've done. And right now China is pretty much in control of everything and gaining
Mm.
even more of a foothold on everything. And in a minute, we ain't gonna be able to. There's not gonna be anything we can do about anything that they do or say. And
Nope.
when they decide that they want to put, because again, just like uh, organized crime, when your marker is called in, if you ain't got the money, you got to go. And we owe them a whole lot of money.
Well, your
We
boy,
are in
your boy
massive.
told him. He said they got us over a barrel. They
Yeah,
they they basically run everything. The
they
things that
really
we
do.
need to make the things are made in China.
And here's the thing, though. So the comfort of the country and the people being in this country, I should say, the comfort has always lied and relied upon. I would say, well, correction. The comfort has always lied in. and has always been relied upon. People not being able to be close enough to us to get to us in terms of war.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, that's not the
China
case anymore.
not the case anymore. China controls all of the islands in the Caribbean pretty much now, and the closest one to us is the one that they have the most control over, which is Cuba.
I hear they're gaining a foothold in Africa too. And some
Oh,
people
they've
have
always
said
had a
what Akon, I was seeing where everybody's like Akon is getting water and Akon is putting up lights and Akon is doing that, and they said that he's using Chinese banks, and they said when he defaults they're going to get the, you know, like
but
they
they've
almost
they've
made it
they've
like it
had
was
a foothold,
nefarious.
right? But they've had a foothold in South Africa for so long. Because remember, I think we had a conversation before where I told you like one of the top three languages of South Africa is Mandarin.
And that didn't used to be.
I want to say the number two language in South Africa is Mandarin, if I'm
That's
not
crazy.
mistaken. So
How is
yeah, so
Mandarin ahead of English? Because I know the number one is was it Xhosa? I think it's like
something
their
like that.
main
Yeah, something like
language.
that. Yeah, something like that. And then there's Mandarin.
It's
So
crazy.
Wow.
right.
Uh, we almost ready for spring. Thank God.
No,
Yes we are.
we
no.
almost we almost ready for that time change.
You people shut your
Yeah.
mouth.
I'm
We
so
need at least
glad.
2 or 3 more snows.
Oh good
No,
lord.
no, we don't.
We
We go
do.
we don't make me act like the powers that be and kick you off of here for for snow
We want
comments.
snow. We want snow.
We got snow comments. We don't need no snow.
I think I just need to move to Alaska where the air is crisp
What is wrong with you? See,
and I can just build snowmen and I can go just lay and make snow angels and Max can run and disappear and pop back
but
out.
I'm gonna tell you where that's gonna go wrong for you though, right? Cause, cause the man of the house ain't going with you. He's gonna send you out there like, all right, have fun.
Yeah.
This guy
See
is
you,
talking about he
see you
wants
in
to
6 months.
move west. He wants
Yep.
to move where the warm weather is. And I'm like, Lord, no. Don't say
I'm
that
with
to
you,
me.
G. I'm with you, G. We going to
Why would you
Arizona,
want to
God
go
darn it.
somewhere where they don't have true fall foliage?
See, Arizona, that's the place. I I really
I
want to
got
visit first. I want to visit first.
They
I
don't
might
even
not
I
like
have
got
fall
family. I got family
foliage.
out there, man. They one has been out there for about 6, 7 years now, and then I got another one who just literally just moved out there last year, start of last year.
a
He
word.
been out there for a year now. We went out there for my cousin's birthday party, and then he moved out there like 4 months later.
Let me tell you, Arizona is hot as fish grease. It's popping. It's popping hot. Like,
It is,
no.
but it's lovely. It's lovely.
That's so. He just went out there to visit and he wanted to stay.
You have
Yeah,
to
we went
buy
out
your
there.
yard.
We went out there for a birthday party in November, and that was in 21. He moved in March of 22
He wasn't playing around.
Wow.
at all. And he
He's
I
worked
like,
at
grand opening, grand closing. I'm out
and
of here.
he lived in Ohio. He lived in Ohio. He was working at he had been at his job for he's basically about to retire because he said he's a year younger than me, so he's about to retire, and he packed up everything and shipped out to Phoenix. And well, it's Surprise, Arizona, which is basically a suburb of Phoenix. It's out by the stadium, actually.
oh,
Richard
So,
lives out there. My nephew's out that way.
oh, okay. Yeah, he moved out there, and then he got him a job at Procter and Gamble, and yeah,
oh,
he ain't looked back.
Oh,
that's
And he
he's
what's
like,
set.
and he keep telling me, "Cuz, when you coming out here? Cuz, when you coming?" I'm like, ooh,
Mm.
ooh. I got this young baby still I got to deal with.
Yeah.
I was riding for North Carolina at first, but then when I started seeing how the prices have grown and how much it costs to live there now as opposed to
Yeah, yeah,
5 years ago. I was
yeah.
like, nah, I'm good.
It costs more to live in
They trying to turn
Arizona.
it
You
to
better
Atlanta.
believe that.
Well,
Yeah, Arizona's expensive too. Certain parts of it.
Super expensive.
The West is expensive. Period.
yeah, but you get
Once you
paid.
hit once you hit the mountain area and past, it gets a little
Hopefully,
steep
their
and
pay
pricey.
scale would balance it out. Like they make more
It it,
money there. So I think it
it
kind of
does.
balances itself out.
Yeah, it does. Because my sister was in San Diego and she was working for she was here working for the Blue Jackets franchise, and when she left, she was making 65, almost 70,000 here. And then when she moved out to San Diego, she was making a little over 100
Hmm.
because the
Damn.
You
cost of
have to make a
living
ton
was
of money
higher.
there. If you want to
Yeah,
live in a cardboard box there, it's like 1,200 a month for a 1 bedroom cardboard box. And
hmm
if you want the shoestrings to go with it, then that's going to be extra. Like just no.
yeah. Well, at least the amenities are a little better than like New York, because you can go to New York and get a little cardboard box for real for 2,500.
There was a guy, and he lived in what looked to be like a water closet, like a
Huh?
closet.
Like water?
And
What's a water
it,
closet?
like it's a small closet where they usually have like your water heater.
Oh, okay. I
You
see
know
what
how
you're saying.
those little, it was like that small. And he had like this
Wow.
little tiny bed. And he's like, oh, and this is where I keep my clothes. It was super small. And it was like 900 something dollars a month. It was inside of a building where there were apartments. And I was like, is that legal to let somebody live in that? And they do. I would
If
just
they ain't
try to
saying nothing
find like
about
a tiny house, maybe in the suburby area of New York, and just live there. Cause that's just that. Ooh, he was in a
it,
closet.
if they ain't, hey, it's so much you can get away with on the East Coast. I swear.
That's bonkers. All
Yeah.
right, fellas, I just got a phone call. I'm gonna have to get off of here. Follow me on IG. I'm your sunshine. IMYASUNSHINE. Thank you so much, Buddha Chief. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, fellas. I have to go feed my 975-month-old upstairs. She just called. Thank you.
It's
Bye,
all
y'all.
good.
Doc Beasley everywhere. The barber surgeon. I think Instagram is DRay uh, underscore Doc Beasley or underscore Doc underscore Beasley underscore the barber surgeon.
All right, at DJ D Poise on all social media, at Spitfire Save the Matches on everything.
And
And
the barber surgeon on TikTok.
oh, wait a minute, you got TikTok jumping off now?
Oh shoot!
Oh, Jesus, you about to start
I've always
dancing?
had it. I just ain't did nothing on it yet. You know.
Oh, you about to start
Nah, I
dancing?
ain't gonna. I ain't about. Nah, bro. Nah. Nah.
Yeah.
I might do some. I might do some reaction videos, but nah, yeah, I ain't about to do no. Nah, you about to have me out here doing these challenges, out here looking crazy.
All
I'm
right,
too cool for that day.
look at the doc. Look at the doc. Oh shoot.
Right, I can see you now. You be hitting me up like, oh yeah, that's what we doing. I see you TikTok. I like that. Yeah, nah, I ain't going that direction. Nope. Can't
Kids
pay
can't
me enough.
persuade you. Yo, the kids can't persuade you to do something on TikTok. Come on, Dad.
Uh,
Come on, Dad.
I mean, they haven't tried to yet. I'm not gonna say they can't, because again, I got girls, so it's hard to say no to them.
Mm.
But right as of right now, ain't nobody said nothing, and they be trying to keep me off their TikToks anyway. So yeah, they probably won't.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I already got some things in the works for next week. We'll see. Still waiting on confirmations, but you got
Yeah,
you
for
got a
sure.
dope artist too that you sent. Hopefully, we can get him on too. So
Yeah. We definitely. He was saying basically when we start and whatnot, he still be working and what have you. So we had
Ah,
to figure it out. Maybe I told him like either we either have to do like he jump in the middle of of one of the shows, or it'd be like a second interview to a show or something.
yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
So, but yeah, we'll
Yep,
get it all we get it all figured out and whatnot, getting tied down. But he was definitely down for it though. He was
yep.
excited. So
All right, cool. All right,
but
y'all.
yeah,
Until next week, we out.
it's
Peace.
your boy. Peace.
Yo.